are the answers for 5.2.1. First one, they had the problem set up for you. All you really have to do is kind of finish it. So I'm going to rewrite it up here just so I have more room. 1,526 times the decimal 1/10. And I'll add the 0 there even though I don't need to. I'll multiply everything by 1 for right now. Pretend the decimal's not there. I got 6, 2, 5, 1. Like we were learning in class, the decimal, if this was 1, the decimal would be right here. We moved it 1 to the left. So in the answer, move the decimal 1 to the left. So our answer is 152.6. And that 0.6, remember, is actually 60 cents because we can add a 0 behind it. Next one. This one's kind of complicated because there's 3 main steps to it. There's 3 different rectangles. So if I were you, I'd draw out the 3 rectangles. First one says 24.5. Oops, squeeze the half in there, I guess, by 18. Next one, I'll do each one in a different color. Next rectangle is 18.5 by 14.5. Okay, and the last rectangle is 12.5 by 14.5. So really, all you have to do is find the area for each one of these. All right, now I'll do 2 of them. I'm going to do the green one and the blue one, and you will have to figure out the red one and how I got that answer. I'll tell you the answer, but you're going to figure out how I did it. All right, so solving the green one first. I'm going to do 24 times 18. So basically, I'm multiplying the whole numbers first. When I do that, if I did the math correctly, I should get 432. But that is not the answer because I still have this half here yet. I still have that. I have to do 1/2 of 18. I know half of 18 is 9. Or I could multiply it if I wasn't sure. 18 times 1/2. But I know half of 18 is 9. If I add those together, I get 441. That's the answer for that first rectangle. Her back, I believe that's her backyard. Next one in blue. I did kind of the same thinking. I did 14 to groups of 18 first. And I know 14 times 18 is 252. All right? Then I know I have to take the half here and do half of 18 and then do half of 14. So first of all, half of 18 again is 9, same as last time. Half of 14 is 7. So I'm going to add all these whole numbers together quick here. So basically I'm adding 16 to 252 and 268. Now, there is one more step in this one that we did not have in the first one. The first one wasn't 18.5. If it was, we would have had this same exact step. Notice, the only thing we didn't multiply together yet are the 2 fractions. So the only other thing I have to do yet, oops, I almost wrote the answer, is 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/4. Remember, you multiply straight across. So the answer to this rectangle is 268 1/4. Right? The answer to this one is 181 1/4. And again, I want you to try and solve that one on your own, and it's going to be very similar to the one in the blue. Your total answer for this whole thing should be 890 1/2. And that should be square feet, or feet squared. Okay? That one was a little tricky. Lots of steps to that one, but it's a good problem. Next one, 5-50. Basically, all where it says simplify. Basically, we're just solving these without a calculator. First one, 0.04 or 4/100 of 7/10. Okay? There's lots of ways we learn in class. You can do it. You can use the generic rectangle. Right? You could write them as fractions if you want. I'm going to solve it as a decimal where I ignore the decimal place and then put it back in. So I'm going to solve this as if it was 4 times 7. And I know 4 times 7 is 28. Now I count how many decimal points they were moved. So the 7 was moved, this was 1, and the 4 would have been moved 1, 2. So in total, the decimal point was moved 3 spots. So if it's 28, the decimal point is after the 8. I'm going to move it 3 back. 1, 2, 3. Your answer should be 0.028, also known as 28 hundredths. Or excuse me, 28 thousandths. That's 28 thousandths. All right. Next one, 1.8 times 0.3. Okay. I'm going to solve this one using the generic rectangle, just to solve it a little bit different way. So I'm going to put 3/10 here. I'm going to write it as a fraction for now. And I have my 1 whole, which is obviously 1 over 1. And then I have 8/10 over here. And I know, well, anything times 1 is itself, so I know this is going to be 3/10. 3 times 8 is 24, and 10 times 10 is 100. Okay. Now that I have it written like that in fractions, I can easily write it as a decimal, because I know my first place value is 10, so I have 3/10, and it tells me I have 24 hundredths. So if I add 24 to that, okay, this is where it gets tricky, because now I'm adding the place value, so I get 0.54, also known as 54 hundredths. Okay, so that's how you could do that when using generic rectangle. You could also multiply it with ignoring the decimal point and then putting them back in. Doesn't matter, I just want to show a different way. Next one, we had problems similar to this last week. We have a rope, and we know it's 30 feet long, and this you could draw in Google Drawings. We know there are 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we don't know how long they are, so I'm going to call them X. They're something long, and then it tells us there's one section that is 10 feet. Okay, so there's my drawing. That's problem number 1. Number 2 says solve for it. I have to find out what X is. So if the whole thing is 30, and I know that part of it is 10, that means I have 20 left. Well, I have 4 X's, so 4X has to equal 20. 4 times something is 20. I know that something has to be 5. If you did not know, you could have done 20 divided by 4 equals X, and also got 5. Next one, last one. All right, fractions. Now it says portion width. All you have to do is write those fractions as a decimal and as a percent. So I'll do 2 of them, and you're gonna have to finish the other 2 because they're all done the same exact way. First one, 1/4. Okay, I should know 1/4, especially thinking of quarters and money, that 1/4 is the same as 0.25. Which is the same as 25%. The other one I want to do is number 3. And if you notice, special fraction, improper fraction, the numerator is larger than the denominator. So 3/2 I want to rewrite first as 1 1/2. If you're not sure how to do that, again, remember that is converting an improper to a mixed. I have to figure out how many times 2 goes into the 3. 2 goes into 3 one whole time with 1 left over. 1 1/2. Well, that should be an easy one as a decimal because I have 1 whole, and 1/2 is the same as 0.5. There's my decimal. My percent, I should know that 1 1/2 is the same as 100. Oops, that's a bad 0. 150%. All right. The other 2 are done the same exact way. Number 2 is should be quick and easy for you because it's out of 25, and 25 goes into 100 really nice. The other one, 8ths, you might have to do a division problem in order to figure that one out if you're not sure what 3/8 is as a decimal. Okay, good luck.